Notice Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verses 13 and 14. The similarity in this passage that ends the book of Ecclesiastes. See, Solomon in Ecclesiastes basically has told his life story, how he blew it, how he almost became an atheist, how, he womanized, and how he had all of these riches and all of these things. And at the end of his life, he felt like committing suicide, he says in the book of Ecclesiastes. He was totally angry at life because everything that he considered important, he realized was totally worthless. In fact, it was vanity. The word vanity is used 35 times in the book of Ecclesiastes. Vanity of vanities, all is vanity, Solomon says, when he talks about everything that he had in life. Notice how he ends his book. Ecclesiastes 12, 13, and 14. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep His commandments. Revelation says, fear God and give glory to Him. Here it says, fear God and keep His commandments. For this is man's all. And now notice the idea of judgment. For God will bring every work into judgment. Do you see the relationship between this passage and the first angel's message? God will bring every work into judgment, including every secret thing, whether good or evil. Do you remember when God asked Abraham or commanded Abraham to take his son to Mount Moriah and to sacrifice him? And he raised his hand and he was ready to plunge the knife into his son. And a voice said, "Don't you plunge that knife into your son." I want you to notice what God said. Genesis chapter 22 and verse 12. And He said, "Do not lay your hand on the lad or do anything to him. For now I know that you fear God, since you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me." Let me ask you, did the fear of God lead Abraham to be obedient to God, even to the point of being willing to sacrifice his own son? Absolutely. The fear of God has to do with obeying the commands of God. That's especially what I want us to gather from what we're talking about. Notice Job 1, 8 and 9. Let me ask you, was Job a pretty righteous man? God said so. Let's hear what God had to say about Job. Job 1, verses 8 and 9. Then the Lord said to Satan, "Have you considered my servant Job? That there is none like him on the earth, a blameless and upright man. One who what? Fears God and shuns evil." Let me ask you, if you fear God, are you going to shun evil? Absolutely. That's what it says. Fears God and shuns evil. Let me ask you, what is it that shows you what is evil and what is good? God's holy law shows you what is right and wrong, what is good and evil. And so it says here, God is saying, one who fears God and shuns evil. So Satan answered the Lord and said, "Does Job fear God for nothing? In other words, does he obey you free?" God said, "Yeah." And the devil says, "Well, let me try him." God says, "Well, go for it." And we all know that Job remained faithful to God. Notice a little later on in the book of Job, Job 28 and verse 28. Job 28 and verse 28. Listen carefully. The Bible is full of this idea. It says, "And to man he said, behold, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom." This is a synonymous parallelism. What is said in the first line is repeated in the second line in different words. Behold, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom, and to depart from evil is understanding. In other words, the fear of the Lord is to depart from evil. Notice Proverbs 8 and verse 13. There it's explicit.